Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here in Boyles in Killorglin, and we're looking lovely in Easter. It's Easter weekend and we are here to talk to Trish and Ger. So I'll say goodbye to the bunnies and I'll head to my gardeners. Okay folks, we're here by the potting shed and it's time to join Trish for her weekly tips. Good afternoon, Trish.
Hi Alan, how are you? How are you keeping this week?
Not too bad. We've had a great week of it, Trish, haven't we?
There's been some lovely days now. The sunshine was there and we were able to get out in the garden, Alan.
In the garden, I tell you what, there's been a lot of emphasis on a lot of people's gardens. So listen, we got to get straight to the tips. They're going great every week. What have you got for us this week?
Okay, like that now, I'm getting people out working again, Alan, in the garden, but it's nice to be able to do it. What I have here now is climbing roses. They're beginning to shoot out everywhere and you actually need to tie them in. With climbing roses, they won't stick to the wall themselves, so they'll either need trellis or they'll need wires run so that they have something to support them. But a little tip then is when you're tying them in, tie them in horizontally, which means out flat like that.
Okay.
When you do that, it actually encourages side shoots to come on. And it's them side shoots that produce the flowers, so you'll actually get more flowers. So don't tie them in like that, tie them down like that as you're going along, and you'll have lovely flowers then for the summertime.
And obviously you'd need a good bit of space, so if you've got a few of them, you would need to give them a good
Exactly, like
2
if you
feet.
had a long wall now and you were planting it all with roses, you'd plant them about 7 feet apart.
7 feet,
Yeah, about 6
okay.
to 7 feet apart, and they'll go fine
And
at
you
that.
said then
Now,
that horizontally will work great.
Horizontally, obviously you need ones that goes up vertically as well.
Yeah.
But majority of them, if you place them out horizontally, you'll get more flowers then during the summer.
Beautiful, fantastic.
Now, beside you here, we've got a lovely acer, or the common name for it is a maple, a Japanese maple. Now,
Beautiful.
these are looking fabulous at the moment. They're just coming out into leaf. They have a very, very soft leaf.
Yeah.
So, it's April, you'll still get frosts, so just be careful. If you purchase this, it's a fleece.
Okay, so this is the woolly blanket we've been
This is the
talking
woolly
about.
blanket that the plants love, and it's no harm. All depends where you have it. You might have it in a nice sheltered spot and might need any protection, but it's no harm just to throw that over it at night time if we have a heavy frost.
So that's what I was going to ask. So you literally throw it kind of
throw
over
it over it.
Okay.
Now again, like sometimes you could put bamboo canes maybe into the pot or into the ground so that the fleece is not actually touching the plant and it's just over it.
Because
then.
as you said, it is quite it's quite
It's
soft
very,
and
very soft, and
tender at
now
the moment,
even if they do get burnt by the frost, they'll look ugly for a while, but they will re-sprout out again. So to stop it getting burnt, just protect it with the fleece.
Super,
or if you have any tender plants in the garden, maybe camellias or anything like that, that would be just in flower.
Works for them as well.
Yeah, works for them as well.
Great.
Also as well, now is a good time to feed them as well. It's an acer feed, and it just brings on the leaf of it, because obviously the Japanese maples have no flowers, so it brings on the leaf healthier as well, and now is a good time to apply that.
Because a lot of people would have them. You see them all over the place.
You
they
do.
are beautiful,
oh,
beautiful
they're
tree.
fabulous. Like
Yeah.
you can plant them into pots or you can plant them directly into the ground.
Yeah.
There's all different sizes. You can get them in green. There's loads of different colours of leaves you can get in them.
And is that just for the acer? Is
That's
there a
just for
specific
the
one
acer.
for each
Yes,
type of
yeah.
maple?
Oh no, for all maples.
Oh,
that
for
is.
all
For all
maples.
the maples.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
for all, not just the purple one. For all the maples.
Okay. Now, Trish, last chance saloon.
It is indeed.
Last chance
it
saloon
is
for the
indeed.
spuds.
You can still plant potatoes.
Okay.
And we actually still have British Queens, which are a firm fair bit here in Kerry. And we also have roosters, a couple of records. So still in stock. So if you still want to plant them, you still have time.
Okay, right. So over the Easter weekend might be a good time to get them
It would,
down.
yeah. As I was saying before, everybody thinks you have to put them in before Patrick's Day, but it depends on the weather. There's still plenty of time to put them in.
It's just
So we
perfect.
still have a lot in stock.
So now for some low-hanging fruit.
Yes, indeed. We've got lovely lemons here.
Right.
Absolutely fabulous. People are looking at them, they're going, are they real?
Yeah.
And they are real.
Already. Now that
Yeah.
was the one thing that struck me, that they've come to fruit already.
They've come to fruit already. Now, as you can see, there's flowers on them as well, and these flowers are actually very scented.
Yeah.
So, but positioning of lemon trees, orange trees, very,
Massively
very
important.
important. Like obviously we all know they grow out far and outside, so you'd need a lovely warm place. If you had a conservatory, a glass house, ideal in it, a nice sunny spot or up against the wall where it'd have the heat of the wall, that would be a good place to plant them.
And what about polytunnels?
Polytunnels, yeah,
same?
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very same, very same. So if anybody has them maybe from last year, now is the time to start feed them. Like that now, there's a special citrus fruit, and it's like the baby bio that you'd have for the house plants. It's only a couple of drops into water and you'd feed them then as well.
And how popular are they, like, Trish?
They're
to
very
have them?
popular.
Yeah.
We sell a good few of them now,
Yeah.
but you, as I say, you have to have the right position for them.
That'll be key as well, and obviously the elements, you need to kind of shelter them from the elements.
Exactly, like what I would do that if it was out during the year, I'd actually bring it in for the winter, so
Okay.
it wouldn't have the harshness of the frosts and the rain rain and the wind and all that. So if you had it in a pot, it might be better so that you can.
I was going to say, would
around.
people actually have them in the ground?
No,
They
not
tend to
really.
not
We
grow
don't
that
have
tall.
the climate for that here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're better off just put it in a pot. But they're lovely on a patio as well. If you'd a lovely big terracotta pot underneath that, it'd look Mediterranean.
Very Mediterranean,
Mediterranean in Kerry.
Now, of course, there's a lot of people who are going out at the lawns. They're giving them the first cut, and there's probably a few parts of the lawn that are probably looking a little bit worse for wear, Trish. So you've got a tip and a solution for that.
I have. As you say, it's just bare patches in the lawn. Another show we'll go through actually sowing seeds and setting the lawn. But you might be going out to the clothesline over the winter time and you have a pat worn out to it. The kids are out playing football. There's a certain spot around the goal net that's bare,
all
whatever.
the diving and stuff.
So now's the time to get out and do that, prepare it. Now what you need to do with that is you need to loosen up the soil. So if you've got an iron rake and just rake it out, rake it level as well. So if it needs, if there's dints in it or whatever, you can just add a little bit of topsoil and just to level it out. Now you are better off to put a fertiliser in it, so something like Grow More or 7617, scatter a little bit down and then put in your seed. Now if you were laying a big lawn, you'd use a roller after putting down the seed, but because it's only small little spots, you wouldn't have a roller. The back of a shovel and just to pat it down. Now what you do with that, whether you're rolling it or patting it down with a shovel, it aids the germination that bit quicker.
Okay, so it just embeds them in the soil a little bit quicker, is that it? Because some people, they might just kind of throw them out.
Just throw it out. It'll still grow, but if you want it to come quicker, if you pat it down or roll it down, it'll bring it on that bit quicker.
Okay, great.
And one more last tip then is that tree ties. Now, all our trees are there, they might be getting mature and you think, oh, they're fine, you're not really looking at them. First thing when you go out to a tree is make sure the grass is away from the base of it. So if your tree stem is here, come out about a foot and a half and just have bare soil around the base of the tree.
Would a bit of bark be good in that sort of situation?
Yes, exactly. It just keeps the weeds down and keeps it free then as well. Also, it stops you coming with the lawnmower into the stem
and
cutting into it and damaging it.
That's
and
true.
plus, it stops if there's grass all around the tree, it's taking the nutrient from the tree then as well.
Right.
So checking tree ties is another thing as well, that we kind of forget about it. Every year the thickness of the stem is growing, and if you don't check your tree ties and loosen them out, what you'll do then is you'll get a real round mark in it, and it could actually cut
the tree.
cut the
I've
tree.
seen that, and sometimes if you don't take them off over years, they actually become part of the bark
They do,
and stuff.
so you just want to check that then as well.
Right, that's great, Trish. Thanks for those tips this week. And speaking of trees and fruit, I believe Ger has got some more in another part of the garden centre. Let's go check them out. Okay, so we're here now with Ger. Good afternoon, Ger. How are we?
Good, Alan. Weather's good.
Yeah, looking forward to the Easter weekend.
Yeah, loving it.
And a long Easter weekend, because you've got Monday off as well, haven't you?
Well, Mondays are my days off anyway, so I'm not gaining too much. But yeah, no, it's nice to have
but the garden centre is closed on Monday.
The garden centre is closed on Monday, yeah. So we'll be open Tuesday through to Saturday again next week.
And if the weather keeps up like this, I tell you what.
Well, unfortunately, I think Monday, Tuesday.
Stop.
So we just have to. There is a risk of frost for the early part of next week. So again, just with people, like people are trying to get their hanging baskets done at the moment and window boxes.
Yeah.
I'd leave it alone for another at least 3 to 4 weeks. Leave it go till May, because there's no
till
point.
there's more consistency in the weather.
You would, yeah, because if you're putting it out at the moment, you're going to be back to us buying more plants in a couple of weeks, and there's no good in that. So no, hold off to at least the last week of April, if not the first week of May.
Okay. Now, Ger, we're going to start off with, we've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of people have been asking about our Moss Master, which we have talked about. I think we've at least got 2 shows where we've mentioned it, but this is some product and people keep asking.
Yeah, listen, we're going through a lot of stock at the moment. Every week we're getting questions, so again, it's the right time of the year now to put it out. It makes a massive difference. Moss has been in everyone's, it's in everyone's lawn at the moment. So we have it in stock now, and we have it in stock in our Tralee store as well. If people are, within the 5k at the moment, we have a store inside in Clash that have it as well. It's a brilliant product. We used to do the Mowbacter, but Mowbacter wasn't doing the same coverage. This one does 400 square meters, so it's you're saving a little bit in your pocket as well with it.
And as well as the coverage, this one doesn't turn the grass, the moss black, which is the big difference, isn't it?
It is brilliant. So no raking. Greens up the lawn.
Stop.
Doesn't brown it or doesn't blacken it. It is brilliant.
Music to a gardener's ears, Ger.
Well, if you've
got a lot of moss.
If you don't want a good workout, it is definitely the one. So listen, the temperatures are up, like we were telling people all along, just to hold back. Maybe Monday, Tuesday next week, leave it, but after that then it's time to get at it.
It's good to go. Now, with obviously say the different changing weather and stuff like that, and I know we've spoken about it, we're going to talk about roses and spraying roses, because it's a real good time for doing that at the moment.
Unfortunately, it's a good thing. All the roses are coming into leaf now. So people have been feeding, they haven't cut back now. So the next step is start to spray every 2 weeks. We have the rose clear. It'll prevent the green fly. It'll do the black fly. It'll do the black spot. Like if you don't want to go down the chemical line, you can always use the suddy water from the.
Oh yes, we spoke about that last year.
Doing your dishes. That'll work, but it doesn't give it a long-term effect.
Okay.
So with this, you wouldn't want to put it out in the heat of the day. Let's say Thursday, Friday now last week. If you were putting it out in them 2 days in the middle of the day, it would scorch the leaves.
Ideally, evening time is kind of
evening
the
time or first thing in the morning.
First thing.
So when you're doing it, you'll always see the green fly kind of on the top of the tips.
Okay.
If you see one, within a week you'll see dozens.
Okay.
They do multiply fast,
very
especially
quickly.
if it gets if the weather's
weather's
quite
right.
warm.
Yeah.
So with it, in the evening time, give the bottle a good shake before you use it, and just give it a good squirt. Then try to get under all the leaves as well, because they'll
hide under there.
They will hide. So give it a good dosing, and that should keep your black spot away, and it should keep the green fly away as well.
Okay, great.
And with the roses again, we keep saying it. Keep feeding.
Keep feeding.
The more you feed, the better the quality of rose, and keep the chicken manure off it. Try and get the rose food on it, because you don't want to be driving on a lot of growth. You want a consistent plant. So with the rose food, you're getting the magnesium and you're getting the potassium as well to drive on the flowering.
Okay, great stuff. All right, so we've got a lot of other interesting things here. We're going to delve into some fruit, are we?
Yeah. So no, we'll attack the fruit. We got a good selection of it at the moment. What people don't realise too is when they come into our garden centre, we've actually added an area to the back of our garden centre where all our roses, fruit plants and climbers are. So there's a big area down the back, and there's quite a good selection.
Well, do you know what it is, Jared? They just get blown away by the
the
beautiful colour down there. They don't even notice back here. So it looks a bit bare. But realistically, this is where there's a lot of beginnings back here of what could be some amazing.
Good. Like you can see behind us there, we've loads of apple trees, loads of pears, and on this bench here we have blueberries, blackberries. We've even got grapevines. There's plenty of everything.
Right. So what have we got here?
The first one that will go is the good old blackberry.
Oh, stop.
The advantage with this one is you can pull it anywhere you want. There's no thorns. It's a thornless black.
Oh, good God. That is the one thing, because if there's one thing I remember from my childhood, it's getting so many little cuts from them.
You can grab it anywhere you want. No thorns at all.
Brilliant.
This one will be fruiting August, September, and you give it a prune back in October. Again, good time of the year to plant it. Good selection when you're planting it. Again, well-drained soil, plenty of organic matter, plenty of farmyard manure G up, and that'll bring on the fruiting. After that, then we have the blueberry. The blueberry again is everyone seems to want it in their garden at the moment.
Yeah.
There's
I think there's been a big health push behind blueberries.
Yeah.
It's a superfood.
It is a superfood.
More and more people are eating it, and now people want to grow it.
Yeah. Listen, it is a tricky one to grow.
Okay.
They do require a good. They like peaty, boggy soil. The more acidic the soil is, the better for the plant.
Okay.
Like if you're in a limey area and you're just putting it into the ground, it's not going to do.
Okay.
So you can put it into pots. You can build your raised veggie boxes and fill it up with ericaceous compost, your brown golds, and that'll keep it happy.
And how is it with the weather and everything here?
It's a good hardy plant, but just the soil requirements are
very
key
particular.
Yeah, it's a very, very particular plant.
So would it be a high maintenance one? I guess you're really.
If you do it right first day, it's not.
You'll benefit.
When I'm saying you're not just getting a scoop of compost to put it into the soil. You're literally digging a hole maybe 3 to 4 times the size of this, and you're getting as much as ericaceous compost into it.
Okay.
And you're giving it a feed then once a year with the ericaceous feed, or you could put the sulphate of iron on it.
And how much fruit would you get off that if all goes well? What sort of?
Oh, depending on the year. geez, you could get 40, 50 blueberries off it. No problem at all.
Lovely.
On a good year.
It would be nice for a breakfast cereal to throw on top of the porridge or
into
something.
your porridge with a bit of honey. Again, we've hazelnuts in stock as well. Again, they like a well-drained soil. They wouldn't like to be in
Now, at the moment, this wouldn't look too attractive.
It's not very
literally, anyone who's listening to us on the radio will know it's literally just a stick.
It is. It's just
with maybe 1 or 2 buds at the top. But how quickly would it transform?
Within 4 to 5 years, you'd have a decent. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be a massive tree, but you'd have a decent size.
So it's a long-term kind of.
It definitely is a long-term project. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
After that, then we have our cherries. We have gooseberry. Thing with the gooseberries is when they come into leaf is just to watch the sawfly. It's fairly.
Now, what did you call it? Sawfly.
It's sawfly. Yeah, it affects the gooseberries.
Okay.
Again, just a good bug clear, and that'll keep them at bay. But you'd want to do that as it's coming into leaf, and every couple of weeks then just to keep on top of it.
So as soon as you start seeing the leaves coming out, you need to get that clear on it.
You need to
get that bug.
100% because he can savage the leaf in it very, very quickly.
Right.
The other one that we have in as well is the grapevine. If you have a polytunnel or
yeah, go on. I was going to say I'm going to start thinking about Mediterranean and be like the olive. Be like the olive tree past here. We're not going to be growing.
They will grow and they will fruit in Ireland, but you have to have a glasshouse or a polytunnel. Okay. What a lot of people do is when they're putting in their polytunnel, they might put the root of the plant outside and they'll kind of just get it in under the plastic and leave it grow rampant. It is very aggressive when it does get in. So it's try and keep it clear during the growing season, not to have it growing everywhere, and get plenty of ventilation through it. Okay. But again, a lot of people going, no, we can't grow grapes in this country. We can.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And again, if anyone has a grapevine at home, the best time to prune them would be December, January.
Okay.
And again, a good feed of potash, and that'll keep them going for a good part of the season.
Now, finally, we've got some trees. I've got 1 or 2 here beside me. Jer, you might kind of talk us through what we got.
Yeah, so you've got the plums on your side there, Alan. Plums. So the one on your left there, that's 2 plants grafted into the one. So I think that one is an opal and a green gage pollinated or grafted onto the one plant. Okay. So if you have a small garden and you can get 2 plants in for pollination, that one is. They're ideal.
Self-sufficient nearly, as you say.
Well, it is, yeah. You just don't need a second one, and if you're tight for space, they're ideal. We have apple trees as well in stock that are self-pollinating. Okay. So 2 grafted into the one. Yeah. And we have a lovely one here.
Now this, I'm fascinated by this.
It's a family pear tree.
A family pear tree, and tell them how many is in it of a family.
There's 5. Plants grafted onto this plant,
and I do urge any of our listeners to maybe go onto the Facebook page and look, because when you hear 5 plants grafted into one,
so you can see where all the grafts are there. You can just see where the wax is. But 5 into one. Again, if you're tight for space, like with apple, pears, and plums, you'd want another plant for pollination, especially definitely with the apples. Let's say if you're getting a Bramley, which is a cooker.
Good for the apple tart.
Good for the apple tart, yeah. Keep the bellies full in September, October. You'd want 2 eaters to pollinate. So you'd want a Cox Orange or James Grieve or something like that to pollinate. But again, no, we've full selection here, very good selection. Yeah. So come in, just ask the question, and we'll go through it with you.
Excellent. Now we'll finish up with our plant of the week, Jer. And what have you got for us this week?
These are all over the place at the moment.
Oh, beautiful!
It is the forest flame, which is Pyrrhus. Comes out in the lovely red foliage this time of the year, and has a lovely white flower as well.
So it's a beautiful plant with, as Jer is saying there, it's got white at the bottom, and then the flame really just shoots through the top.
It is stunning, and you can literally see them all over the county at the moment. This one is the forest flame. We have this one grow to about 6 feet. You can keep it pruned back, but we have other varieties as well. We have Mountain Fire, which grows to 1 metre high, and we have Little Heat, which is the miniature one. It only grows to about 2 foot, 2.5 foot, which is a nice one. The bees love it this time of year. The bees
love it as well. Fantastic, and we always like to help out the bees in the garden.
And just with the fruit trees again, we have the superphosphate as well. If you give it a good feed now, and a feed in October. That'll keep the
keep it
blossoms
going
going for the year.
Brilliant. Listen, Ger, thanks very much. Another jam-packed show. Literally, we could make jam out of some of the articles we talked. But thanks again for all your help this week. And listen, have a nice Easter weekend.
Will do.
Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Garden Show for this week. For myself, Alan, Ger, and Trish here in Boyles of Killorglin. We'll talk to you next week, and have a nice Easter. Okay, so it's question time here now on the Garden Show Extra, exclusively here on Facebook, and I'm joined by Ger to answer some of the questions that have been sent in by our listeners. So Ger, our first question is, I've had very few flowers on my apple blossom tree last year. What could have happened there, and what could I feed it with?
There's probably a couple of factors. Last year, I know we got a late storm, kind of mid-April, that would have blown a lot of the apple blossoms. So that would have affected your fruit crop later on in the year. If you want to improve your apple blossom, kind of autumn time, you'd be looking at October into November to give it a good feed of potash. Also get your farmyard manure and your horse manure in that time of the year as well, and that will improve the structure of the soil, and in return you'll have better blossoms, better fruiting later on in the year.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, thanks very much, sir. The next one is from Julie. Julie put some rose slips from a bouquet that she recently got into a pot with some rooting powder. Do you think they will come on? I'm very interested in this one now myself.
Listen, there's always a chance.
There's always a chance.
Like if they were in water, that would have kept it fresh enough. You'd want to plant it into kind of a good compost, into kind of a good substantial pot. The success rate will vary.
Okay.
It might not.
Might not.
Depends on how much light is hitting it. There's different factors that will affect it.
Yeah.
But she's every chance.
Good effort.
Yeah.
Good effort. Why worth the effort? Okay, great stuff. Okay, now we have got a question in all the way from Florida. Florida, can you believe it? Mary Reynolds. Okay, we'll have to cut that. Right. Sorry. Okay. Now, Ger, would you believe it? We have got a question all the way in from Florida. Mary Reynolds, she catches the show on Facebook and she likes to tune in as well. And she is saying now, obviously, different temperate climate from here, but her question is, she grows gardenias and sometimes the leaves are very yellow, but it isn't from lack of watering. Any suggestion what might help?
Yeah, there's two different approaches. Like with all plants, with all old leaves, they do go yellow over time, so they do drop kind of this time of the year for the new growth to come on. But it sounds like she is overwatering.
Oh, so that could be the problem actually.
I reckon it's definitely overwatering. Like gardenias, you can keep them as an indoor plant here in Ireland, on a sunny window or in a sunny porch. They don't like a lot of water. They are a tropical plant.
Okay.
So just relax it maybe in the watering slightly for a couple of weeks, and you might see a difference in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so whether it's Florida or Killorglin, if you're actually overwatering a gardenia, you can do that.
Out and you're trouncing the waters there. You're getting the root rot.
Yeah.
And that's affecting the plant. Yeah.
So the key thing there is it is a tropical plant.
It is a tropical.
Not to worry about it too much.
Not to water it too
Excellent.
often.
Now, Mary.
Once a week or once every 2 weeks, it should be fine.
Excellent. So it's not just the Florida climate. Okay, and our final question comes in here from Annika, and she was wondering about invasive flatworms. Are they a problem to be aware of?
They are. Yeah. No, with the last, they're in the country since the 1960s. They came in and imported compost from New Zealand. They are in Kerry. They are local. They do harm our native worm.
Earthworms,
Like they do eat them up. They do kill them off. They basically sterilise the soil. So they're not good to have in your garden. There is a few tricks to kind of keep them, to try and trap them. You could put out a sheet of black plastic, and they are drawn to it. They don't burrow.
Right.
So if you are looking for them, they will be under pots, they will be under rocks, anything that's kind of that they can get their bodies in under. Just coming back to the question then, about do we have them in the garden centre? We're very, very strict with the plants that we get in. All our nurseries are Borbia registered. They follow strict protocols. Like as you say, like I said there, they don't burrow, so you kind of find them under pots. So
Okay.
when we're lifting up, like there is no trace of them in the garden centre here.
Okay.
And I'm sure most garden centres in
Kerry,
in the country,
Ireland,
are keeping
working
on top
off
of
the
it.
same thing. So, and are they just a flatworm? It's
They're
easy to
flat,
recognise
black
them.
worm.
Black.
They can be kind of mistaken for a couple of different things, but they're about that long. They
Okay.
are flat. And again, the first point to call if you think you have them is underneath pots.
Okay. And what's the best thing to do then? Is there a treatment or
like
just
if they are in the soil? Use the black plastic to try and to encourage them to go under. Kind of put rocks around it just to try and trap them in.
Okay.
Boil them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. You have to be
Right,
cruel
they're
with them.
very.
Yeah, no, boiling, like they do lay eggs as well.
Okay.
So like if you do find their eggs in the top of the compost, again, into boiling water, and that's the only way, 40 degrees.
Right. Okay. Right. Well,
So listen, it's not a big problem in Kerry.
it's not a big problem, but it's
it
something.
is there.
It is something to be aware of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, Nanny, thank you for sending in the question. And do remember, if you have got any question for your gardening queries, do put them in the comment section of our videos. We'll put them to Ger and Trish and get them to answer. And as well, it's time to start seeing some photographs. Take some photographs of your gardens. Send them in to us. We'd love to see how your garden is getting on. And if you have any little positions in your garden you'd like to fill, we can get Trish and Ger to advise on the best thing for us. So that's it for this week. Ger, thanks very much for answering the questions, and we'll talk to you again soon.